The candle was small and simple, placed quietly on the windowsill of an old house at the edge of town. Its flame was gentle, almost fragile, yet it glowed every night without fail. People passing by rarely noticed it, but for Elias, that candle meant everything. It had been there longer than he could remember, quietly lighting the darkness when the world felt heavy. Elias lived alone now. The house once echoed with laughter, warm voices, and shared meals, but time had slowly carried those moments away. The candle had belonged to his mother. She used to light it every evening, saying it reminded her that even the smallest light could guide someone home. When she passed away, Elias thought the light would go out forever. Yet on the first night alone, he found himself lighting the candle without thinking. The flame flickered softly, filling the room with a familiar warmth. It didn't erase his grief, but it made the silence less lonely. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into years. Life outside moved fast. People hurried, seasons changed, and buildings rose and fell. But every evening, as the sky darkened, Elias lit the candle. It became a quiet ritual, a moment where the noise of the world paused. Some nights, storms came. Rain hammered against the windows, and wind howled through the streets. The candle would tremble, its flame bending and shrinking, but it never went out. Elias would sit nearby, watching closely, feeling as though the candle understood his struggles. There were times when Elias felt like giving up. Dreams he once carried had faded, friendships had drifted apart, and the future felt uncertain. On those nights, he would stare at the flame and remember his mother's words, that light does not need to be strong to survive, it only needs to remain. One winter evening, the town lost power. Darkness swallowed the streets, and fear quietly crept into people's hearts. Yet from the window of Elias's house, the candle still shone. Neighbors noticed it for the first time, a single warm glow standing against the cold night. A young girl from across the street knocked on Elias's door. She was scared of the darkness and had seen the light. Elias welcomed her inside, offering her warmth and comfort. They sat quietly, watching the candle dance, and for the first time in years, Elias felt useful again. Word spread, and soon others came, not to talk much, but to sit, to breathe, to feel calm. The candle became a silent gathering point, a reminder that light shared is never wasted. Elias realized the flame was no longer just for him. As spring arrived, the days grew longer, but the candle was still lit every night. Elias understood then that the candle was not holding him in the past, it was guiding him forward. It taught him patience, resilience, and the courage to remain gentle in a harsh world. Years later, Elias grew old. His hands shook slightly as he struck the match each evening, but his eyes still softened when the flame appeared. On his final night, he lit the candle and sat by the window, peaceful and unafraid. The next morning, the house was quiet, but that evening, someone else lit the candle, and the next night, and the one after that. The flame continued, passed from hand to hand, heart to heart. As time passed, Elias noticed that his life was slowly changing in ways he had not expected. The candle had started as a reminder of loss, but it gradually became a source of quiet strength. Each evening when he lit it, he felt steadier, as if the flame was grounding him. He began waking earlier, taking longer walks, and paying attention to small details he once ignored, like the sound of birds in the morning or the way sunlight rested on the walls. People in the neighborhood began to recognize Elias as someone calm and dependable. They did not always know why they felt comfort around him, but many sensed it had something to do with the quiet warmth that surrounded his home. The candle, still glowing every night, became a symbol of reassurance. Elias never spoke about it much. He believed that some things lose their meaning when explained too loudly. One evening, a man new to the town stopped outside Elias's house. He had recently lost his wife and felt restless in the unfamiliar streets. The soft glow from the window caught his attention. He stood there longer than he planned, feeling a strange peace. Elias noticed him and invited him inside. They did not talk much, but the silence between them felt safe. The candle burned gently between them, steady and patient. Over time, Elias understood something important. The candle was not special because it burned without effort. It was special because it was cared for. It needed protection from the wind, attention in storms, and the decision to be lit again each night. In the same way, hope required care. It survived not by chance, but by choice. As years moved on, Elias began teaching others small habits that kept him grounded. He encouraged people to find their own quiet rituals, their own sources of light. Some chose music, others writing, others simply sitting in silence. Elias never told them to light a candle. He knew each person had to discover their own flame. Even as his body grew weaker, Elias remained calm. He no longer feared darkness because he understood it would always exist. What mattered was not defeating it, but learning how to live alongside it without losing yourself. The candle continued to burn each night, not as resistance, but as acceptance. Long after Elias was gone, people still remembered the house with the warm window. New residents moved in, unaware at first of the tradition, but somehow the candle always returned. Someone would light it on a difficult night. Someone would keep it burning a little longer than planned. The flame continued quietly, never demanding attention, yet always offering comfort. The candle did not change the world, it did not remove pain or stop loss, but it reminded people that light does not need permission to exist. It only needs someone willing to protect it, even when it feels small. And in that way, the candle stayed lit, not because it was strong, but because it was chosen, again and again.